Thanks for tuning in to Exceptionals, an effort by Nuvama Private and NDTV Profit, wherein what we try to do is bring out exceptional entrepreneurs who've built legacies that will stay on for life. They may be doing an active business right now, they may have sold their business and moved on to other things, but everything that the exceptional she or he has touched has left an imprint. Our exceptional today is a quintessential serial entrepreneur, if I can call him that. I don't know if he'll agree with me or no, but that's what I'd like to call him. Because to my mind, as my research suggested, his philosophy is rooted in building, scaling, and then maybe moving on as well. And he's done this before. After selling his company in 2013, he famously said, and I'm referring to my notes, I have been constantly working for more than 30 years and never took a break. This is a great opportunity for me to take a pause and feel nothingness, reflecting a rare mindset of deliberate detachment from wealth. This is my presumption. I'll confirm this with him. He believes in creating institutions, not just businesses, of course, and his ventures span IT services, investing through his family office, as well as luxury retail. He was also listed by Forbes Asia amongst the top 50 philanthropists of Asia in 2019. Mr. Atul Nishar, welcome to the Exceptionals.
Thank you, Neeraj, and thanks to NDTV and Nuvama for inviting me.
Yeah, well, the pleasure is entirely ours, I must say, sir. Whatever I said, more or less, was I correct, or would you differ in some of the descriptions that I made about you and your style?
I'll not say anything on the titles, but yes, when you say serial entrepreneur, I have done a lot of ventures because I enjoyed them, and I've scaled up because I believe that companies should be at global scale. And so it's been a nice journey, enjoyable journey. But really title doesn't matter.
It doesn't, but if at this stage, sir, if I were to ask you, and then I'm going to go into the past as well, but at this stage, and because people's thoughts change over time, is this philanthropist accolade to you, Asia's top philanthropist, if you will, is that a title closer to you right now? Or would a serial entrepreneur who is building businesses, investing in startups, looking at them and helping them grow a much bigger and a closer accolade?
See, Neeraj, society has given me a lot. My entire career, I've gained so much, and I'm very grateful to the society. Giving back part of it doesn't really entitle me to a big title of a philanthropist. So I think it's just my duty to contribute to the society. I've been associated with a leading university, a school, hospital, and a few other institutions, also contributing on the board of some of these. I think it's more for my personal satisfaction than for any other reason. I just feel good about it.
Yeah, in some sense, all pro bono activity has that, in some sense, motive as well.
Yes,
okay,
no doubt at all.
No doubt
Absolutely.
about it. Most certainly, I can relate to it, sir. Okay, I'm going to take a minute here and just tell a lot of our viewers who will be young entrepreneurs watching this right now, some glimpse into what you have done. I'm sure AI enables them to research a lot of this, but I like to do my bit. So viewers, Mr. Nishar founded AppTech in 1985, grew it to over 2,400 centers across 52 countries, if I'm not wrong, making it one of the world's largest IT training companies. Subsequently, founded Hexaware Technologies. This was way back in 1990, scaled it to 30,000 employees at a point of time, billion-dollar global IT and BPO firm, listed on the Indian stock exchanges, still listed, of course. And as things stand, he sold it way back then, and in 2013, if I'm not wrong. And now, as he said in his own words, mentors a lot of startup entrepreneurs, invests in a lot of entities through his family office, and also is a mentor to Azza Fashions, a luxury multi-designer wear retail brand that I believe your wife founded as well. So I can very safely see, sir, a pattern here, and allow me to hypothesize that the pattern seems to be that you like developing businesses, while you're in the midst of building out a large global scale enterprise, you also thought of something else. And I'm presuming that the mind is still active right now because the Indian startup scene and the entrepreneurship scene
Yes.
is very high. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yes, that's very fair. I love to look at projects. I love to examine new ideas. And that has been the case from my childhood. I've loved, anything to do with entrepreneurship. You mentioned also building business and then selling that. Actually, while starting a business or a building, I never frankly thought of exiting that at all. So that was not really the purpose, but there have been different reasons why I may have exited a particular business. But I have enjoyed looking at different ideas, different business models, different ventures, whether I actually do it myself or not, but that itself has been a lot of fun. And I think that's been so from childhood.
Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing. Okay, I don't know if it came across like that. I didn't mean that you starting a business with an intention of selling it, but there's you've done that, and now in your role when you're mentoring startups, I'm guessing that's what you do because it will be an investment that you're making at some point of time to make gains out of that. Tell us, sir, would you believe that the current Indian landscape as it stands right now is so fertile for startups because there is private capital available at a beck and call, if you will, on a call, if you will. Is this the right kind of environment that would encourage entrepreneurs to build out large businesses of the next 10, 20, 30 years?
Yeah, I think there's no doubt at all that the current environment is very fertile. There is immense opportunity, and the youngsters who are willing to disrupt an existing business, well-established industry or a company, and come up with innovative new ideas, new business model, and is able to give some solutions to the consumers. I think the potential is unlimited. There is no doubt.
Wow.
Competing with an established company is not going to be easy. It will involve a lot of hard work, smart work, building the right team. But the availability of money definitely helps, When I was growing my business, the availability of money was only go to the stock market and get listed.
Right.
But now there are multiple options of getting funding if you have the right project.
Got it.
So I think we are in a major upside in terms of the startup economy.
Awesome. Okay. I'm going to come to that a bit later on in the conversation. I want to start off because you invoked in your current answer that when you started off the business, possibly the only option was to go to the stock market. But just tell us a bit about how your business philosophy has gotten ingrained in you, because you've done two successful things or ventures in the 1990s at a point of time when doing multiple entrepreneurial ventures weren't quite thought of. How did you do this? How did it impact your business philosophy, your psyche?
Well, I would say that there was some foundation created from early childhood. Let me give you some example.
Please.
I was just 9 or 10-year-old, and I was in Vapi, my mother's father's home. And they used to own agricultural land. And one fine day, he called me and said, here is a big basket of chicos.
Okay.
And you go and sit in the Vapi market, which was just outside Vapi station. Sit there and sell these. And he explained how much to sell it. I was allowed to bargain somewhat, and how much money I should finally bring. So a porter came, dropped that and went away, and it was left to me. So I had to get the customers, sell them, keep track of the money I'm collecting. And then I successfully sold all the chicos and brought money home and gave him. And he said, "You've done a good job."
When you were 10.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Okay.
And then he sent me a few times. So the whole idea was to train me. And he wanted me to really learn from early childhood. I didn't know, why he sent me, but I enjoyed. At that age, I had fun.
Okay.
We also had a family shop, and my father was a doctor, but uh, we used to have a shop due to division in the family, and we had a partner, and I used to go to the shop and really help out during festivals and whenever they needed. And I used to work with other salespeople. And there again, I learned about customers. I learned about how salespeople behaved, how they looked at things. So again, unknowingly, not that I was so conscious that I'm learning. I was just working and helping out. But again, I learned so much. So I would say then again, while doing CA, I'm a chartered accountant, and while doing articles, I used to go on audits or do taxation. And being in a very good CA firm, Dalal Desai Kumana, I got a lot of exposure to corporates. And when I used to go, I would really see how the business works and not so get obsessed with accounts and audit.
Okay.
So all this, I think, created a foundation. And I was very clear that one thing is there, I may run a small business, whatever, but I'll be on my own. I'm not going to do a job.
This was which age, sir, if you will?
So it was the moment I started attending to shop, even my college days.
Okay, fine.
I was very
You were
clear
very
that
clear.
I'm going to be on my own. And no matter what it is, I didn't know what business and what I will do, but no matter, I'm going to be on my own.
Got it.
I think that clarity of thought about being an entrepreneur was very much there. It has always been there.
Okay.
And maybe, I've often told my team also, maybe I was not confident of being able to work in a large company. So I thought may as well set it up myself. Because I was not sure how a boss will look at me. So that has been the journey. I didn't really think of where I should reach. But as the business started growing, I learned that, just being local company is not going to help, like AppTech, which I started first, that we have to go international because we are having so much expertise, we are having such good courseware, we're able to teach computers so well, and we have talented people, why not? So we kept going to different countries and appointed franchises and opened 2,000 odd number of centers, became probably the largest chain of computer education centers in the world.
In the world, yeah. Sir, sorry, just before we get to that though, when you started off this as AppTech, but did you have the capital to be able to do this? How did you, there is a point, right? A lot of people want to start businesses, but they have the fear of either losing their monthly paycheck or the fear of the inability to raise capital to do the business. How did that happen for you? If you can tell us a bit about that during AppTech days.
Once I started the computer education business with
a little
just
bit of
one
capital.
center,
Huh.
yeah, I had extra space in my office and with just little bit of capital. Yeah, it was not big amount at all.
Okay.
But the response was phenomenal. So I thought maybe you are doing something right, Why is there such great response? So income started from beginning. We really didn't make loss even for a month. So we could easily reinvest. And I never thought of taking money home, I mean, it was only thought was keeping money in the company. I don't think I ever withdrew money from the company. Even when I ran publicly listed companies, I used to draw very less salary.
Okay.
So it was always, I believed in reinvesting. So the company kept growing and we could reinvest. And finally, the time came when we wanted to grow bigger way, we had to get listed.
Got it.
Yeah.
And so one is Aptech, and you started that off, and you saw that what you could do in India very well, you could do globally as well, and therefore you expanded it.
That's
Fabulous journey, by the way, that too. But then I believe you started Aptech in 1985, and you conceived the roots of Hexaware within the next 5 years as well. But at that point of time, it was not that software export industry from India was well discovered, right?
Yes.
So I would love to know the mindset. How did you manage to think of conceiving an idea like that, wherein an Indian company, not necessarily the country which was exposed to the world very well, could set up an industry which could be a global leading industry?
So I remember around 1989,
Okay.
one management consultant approached me that he's setting up, report on Indian software industry.
Okay.
And he wanted sponsorship. So I became one of the sponsors to that report
This was through Aptech.
through AppTech, that I will get the report as a result of that.
Okay.
And the report said that the software export industry, I'm talking about the export part, domestic was pretty small anyway, and not even profitable. So the export from India is less than $100 million.
Okay.
100 million.
Right.
So it's a very tiny industry. And TCS was the dominant company, and Tata's contributed some 40% that time between the two companies. So he didn't really recommend that I should start a software company. But the more I thought about it, the more I got convinced that here is an industry, then no big business house is there, and Tata is the only, which are very professionally run company, TCS or Tata Burrows, which became Tata Unisys. So really it is a professionals who are running companies and not business houses. So there is potential to get in, and I will not need too much funding for that. And computer talk was there all over the world, We were going through major computerization worldwide.
Right.
And I believe that our Indian talent is very good. We were training people, and we saw at AppTech that our youngsters are very, very bright. The way they are able to learn computers was amazing. So I thought we can use our Indian talent abroad. And of course, there's some personal kick that I want to have an office in US and have our Indian flag high in America.
Amazing.
And that's how we started Hexaware with main business in the US. And we didn't have any anchor client. We didn't have any connect in the US industry to get us any business. It was just pure greenfield, knock the door, try to get business.
Wow. Okay. So what gave you the confidence of the right to win here? Just trying to understand the mindset.
Well, I was, I guess, not too calculating. We didn't make a project report.
Okay.
And it was just exciting opportunity, I thought. And the biggest thing was that we as Indians will go and work in America and in Europe subsequently. That I felt was a matter of pride. And that attracted me, that, we'll enjoy this. And I must tell you, even the type of companies we went after as clients, being a small company, the tendency would be to address small and mid-sized companies and make it easy.
Right.
We decided we will only go to largest companies who have large budgets. We'll do small project, doesn't matter. But in a large company. So that there is potential, no? If you go to a large company with a large budget, it will have potential to grow.
Right.
And that account can keep growing. If we go to a small company, then we'll also remain small.
But how do you get a seat at the table then?
Yeah.
You are a small firm, no contacts in the US. How
Yeah.
did you get the seat at the table?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not saying it was easy.
No, I'm sure it wasn't, but still, the strategy.
Yeah, so the strategy was build skills in India, competencies, and to build competencies, we didn't need really ready business there.
Okay.
So we told our technology team to go on building solutions, go on building products in whatever shape. We were not becoming a product company, but in terms of solutions. So build that framework. More I would say the right term would be in the form of frameworks. And we'll go and demonstrate to clients there. And that is how we started making gradual breakthrough. Not saying it was very easy, but it kept moving up. And the time came, we were servicing 50 Fortune 500, Global 500 companies.
Wow.
So that was a great, moment of pride for us that we are serving so many Fortune 500 companies.
Can imagine. Wow.
Yeah.
For a
So
person who wanted the India flag in the US to serving 50 of the Fortune 500 companies.
There was no chase for building valuation, frankly. There was no desire at the initial stage. Of course, once we became a public company, and then, of course, journalists like you will keep asking questions every quarter. So one is then pushed to...
Don't shoot the messenger, sir. We are just trying to do our job. Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
So no, that was good.
Yeah.
That was good that accountability is created.
Yeah.
Shareholders trust us, and it's our job to give returns. So I think that became later on, but initially there was no really chase for monetary gains, really.
Well, I must say, you guys who built out this IT software services industry, I mean, what you guys did for the country and as a sector, I mean, we might have one or two bad examples of that, but by and large, a sector that is so clean, known for corporate governance, dependable, clean books, great cash flow, and which earns such great forex. So, I mean, kudos to that early set of entrepreneurs who set up this sector, which is such a sector to reckon with. I have one question though. During this journey, in the first 5-6 years of AdTech or the first 5-6 years of Hexaware, were there moments wherein you felt nervous because something didn't work out and you felt, okay, is this the end of the road? Did moments like these come? And if so, how did you deal with them?
No, the biggest thing is when we began, there was no money.
True.
In the sense, it was so limited because even if we have in India, it didn't matter because we have to get permission from Reserve Bank to send money abroad. And that time, foreign exchange was quite tough, early 90s.
To pay salaries for people who are abroad.
For anything.
For anything.
So to start our office in US, we were given approval to send $10,000, that's all. So within $10,000, we had to buy a computer, pay deposit for an office, buy a small car, and that's how we began. So money was always, initially, we had to be very, very thrifty, very careful about every dollar that we spent. Even to travel, to get, allowance was itself, it was I forget the amount, but very tiny allowance. So we had to be very frugal in the way we spent. So initial years, it was constantly taking care of the money we spend while building business. So that was itself, first few years was quite a challenge, If I tell you one, in, incident,
Please.
my first visit to New York, I had two colleagues with me. One was based there and one came with me. And three of us, we thought that we have never watched a Broadway show. So we should go and watch one. So we went to a theater and we found the lowest price of a ticket was $20. And we thought $60 we don't have. That'll be too much to spend. So what do we do now? So finally, after some time, we were told that there is something called standing tickets. So standing seats, you only stand behind the last row. And that was available at $10 each. So we thought, it's not a problem, we are all young, we can stand, what is there? We spent $30 for three of us to stand and see the show. That's how the first show was seen. And that became a very popular thing for years in our company, that, we had three of us who really had a standing seats. And that was also a message of being frugal in the company, that look, we have to be careful with money because we have limitation. So with that kind of limitation, we built business. And that, because there is shortage of money there. Even if we had in India, we couldn't use that there. So I think that I feel very happy looking back the journey that we could build the company in spite of these constraints. And as the time went, as you rightly said, the industry was known for transparency, professionalism, and looking at that record, government kept liberalizing, and a lot of steps were taken to make it easy to function, And of course, once India did well on the speed of internet, I think we could really, that took off the offshore business. Really. The whole on-site offshore business took off because of better technology use.
Yeah, sure. Wow, fabulous, fabulous. I mean, thrifty, but at the same time ambitious. The one question though I have around this, sir, is that, and correct me if I'm wrong here, of course, but let's say unlike some of your peer companies, which had global ambitions and acquired global companies, Hexaware was maybe reticent in making large acquisitions globally. Why was that the case?
Yeah, I think very interesting. As a growth strategy, we debated this many times in the company, I with my management team. And now we look at, 90s was the time we really built business. And the money was not there to acquire any company. So that was not even a thought. Now, question came only from 2001, 2002.
Sure.
2002, Hexaware was $50 million revenue. 2007, we were 252. We grew 5x in 5 years. Again, after the slowdown phase of 2008, 2009, we started growing at double-digit quarter on quarter.
Wow, okay.
So when we had such good organic growth, we thought if we acquire another company, so much time will get spent in integration issues between the two companies and divert our attention from winning new clients and winning new projects. So we really didn't go aggressively into acquisitions. 2007, we did acquire a company for automated testing, and that did help us build that skill that we didn't have really. And we made use of that to cross-sell. But other than that, during my tenure as the promoter, we thought of focusing more on organic growth. Later on, as the chairman of the company, we did acquire another large company with an outlay of around $180 million. Dollars.
Okay, probably. Okay, but I just wanted to understand the psyche. One more small question. Not small question, actually. It's a really big question, if you will. For somebody who didn't start off with this intention of building and selling businesses, and technically it was your baby, if you will, right? Because you nurtured it for such a long time, etc., thrifty ways, to eventually sell it to a PE firm. How difficult was that decision? How easy was it? What went behind that decision?
So let me address both one by one. Aptech, which I sold early 2003, we did the deal toward the end of 2002. 2001 and 2 was a major downturn. And post dot-com burst and then September 11 event and the global recession. So that's a tough period. And I was running two globally competitive businesses, Aptech and Hexaware. And at the same time, I also found that the opportunity in software is going to be way bigger as compared to education. And it is very difficult to run two global companies, particularly having seen that challenge of that period. That is when I decided that I should just focus on one and make it big.
Sure.
And it really worked well. I chose to exit Aptech and focused on Hexaware. It was not an easy decision, of course not. I mean, 17 years I ran Aptech from beginning, and but it was the decision, right decision needed to take, and then of course it worked well. Now Hexaware, now that was the toughest decision, I would say.
24 years.
Yes, 23 years I'd run as promoter, and company was doing extremely well. There's a personal pride involved. One has built one's image around that success story. You're meeting the multinationals. You have entry into the best of companies in the world, their boardrooms. So, but then ultimately I thought, I have to look at my life, My life is not only about business. And I thought, I don't want to keep running around whole my life, So, I thought from the time I started doing CA, I was working. There was no vacation. I mean, vacation at best was a week, that too always combined with work. So 35, 40 years of work every day, moving around the world, and I thought it'd be good to take a break. And that's how there was no dearth of buyers for Hexaware, my stake. That was not at all difficult, but I did try to choose the right one who will really allow the team to function and give all the freedom. And it was nice of them, the Bering Private Equity Asia, that time it was called, and they wanted me to continue as chairman, which I continued for seven and a half years.
Yeah.
And so that was a different role. That is when I set up my family office for investing. So it was not an easy decision, but again, I don't regret that because I'm looking at overall life as such.
Awesome.
I could spend more time with family, with friends, started traveling, going on holidays, seeing countries. I'd been to more than 40 countries in the world without seeing any of them. So only after this that I started going around and actually seeing the countries. So that's a different phase of life,
Yeah, can imagine.
Yeah.
Okay. And therefore, my next question, Mr. Nishar, is that how easy is it or how difficult is it to transition from day-to-day activity until 2002, 2003, day-to-day activity for two businesses, then until 2013 for 10 long years, day-to-day activity of a large growth IT company which grew double digits quarter on quarter, to almost, uh, in some sense, the next day or the next few weeks, doing nothing for lack of a better word, doing nothing, because I believe you've been quoted that you wanted to feel nothingness, right? How easy or difficult is that transition?
Well, I think it was not easy. When one is in charge of an operating business, meeting clients, and a large team where you're interacting day to day with them, the the discussion on strategies and acquisition of new clients, new business, setting up new vertical, all that. So it was so much involvement in a business. And though I had a CEO and was not involved in that sense of operating issues, but then also there was a full-time plus work. And now suddenly, while setting up family office, one is looking at either a startup based on a judgment or a listed company, again based on some analysis. But it's all a matter of judgment. The only authority, only power you have is to sell that company stock. If it is listed,
True.
unlisted, even that you don't have. You have to keep waiting. So you are no more in control of the situation. One has to learn to adjust to that. It's different than you're controlling a business. And and then nothing that you have to do every day, morning to evening. Once you invested, you invested. So life is different, but I guess I think the time passed and I realized that there was also a lot of fun. The particularly startups, you're involved in mentoring. Irrespective, you're learning a lot from all of them.
True.
You're working with smart entrepreneurs, smart youngsters who have ambition, who want to disrupt a particular business. So that was, I would say, quite a stimulating journey working with them. And some success stories which give not so much about money, but about having succeeded in having the right companies one has invested in, which if I were to just give 3-4 names, National Stock Exchange, NICA, Eco Insurance, SmartWorks. So some of these have become multi-baggers. So one feels good about it, that okay, we went right. In terms of financial gains, of course, Indian stock market has done very well. Indian startups have done well. So there's no regret there. But I don't keep looking at that way. Am I enjoying that? And, my daughters also get involved now, Priyanka and Devangi. And again, the point is, decision making is not just based on how much return we get. Is it interesting, a particular business? So yes, life is different, but maybe that's what I chose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess having a family office life
Yeah.
is very enriching in some ways, right, sir? Because I'm presuming that one, you can now mentor and therefore influence companies of various sectors, help them grow, part one. And part two, this whole emergence of the family office culture, if you will. Uh, uh, and I'm a bit of a minority here in the thinking, maybe, but I love the fact that there are so many family offices who are giving rounds of capital to deserving entrepreneurs who previously didn't have a choice. And now they have capital, as you said, on a call if the business idea is right, and they can make business grow. Isn't it an enriching life?
Yes, I think setting up a family office, I think the perception that one is to have a very large amount of money fund to set up is wrong.
Okay.
You know, a family office is just an organized way of investing. You are doing it in a professional manner, thoughtful manner, not because you met somebody yesterday and he gave a tip that ye le lo, wo le lo. So I don't think one should ever invest like that. So you are taking a decision based on fundamentals about the by understanding that business. And of course, I'm not saying we can acquire all the skills, and there are professional companies one can deal with and get guidance, get advice from, and be on the right track. After all that, it is not that every single time we'll go right, but I think there will be way better way of investing, way better way of coming in connect with the right entrepreneurs. You're meeting the right set of people, which is not just contributing to them, but also getting inspired by them. You know, sometimes I feel, oh, by meeting them, why am I not, doing what they are doing? I mean, not the same business, but like them. You know, it's so nice to see the youngsters who are thinking like this, who are thinking big. They also don't have too much fund.
Yeah.
So I think that opportunity to be able to invest in startups or unlisted companies, may not be very early stage, but maybe later stage, I think is very interesting.
Would you, without getting into names necessarily, would you want to enumerate what has excited you the most about this whole array of unlisted promoters or startup founders that you would have met? One or two examples, if you will, which have made you think, wow, this is so cool.
No, I would give you example of Nykaa. That was my first investment and in unlisted space. And, meeting Falguni was a tremendous learning experience, And for her also, that is the first venture, coming out of banking and setting up her own business. And then I used to look at the quarterly report that they used to send to investors. And I think there was a lot of learning for me and getting inspired the way that was going on the venture. And of course, it ultimately became whatever the last fund that I had, investment left in Nykaa gave a return of 100x.
Wow.
So I think it was a great journey. Just to give an example.
Well noted, sir.
But there are a number of companies which you look at. Eco Insurance, I invested when they didn't have a license for insurance. They were yet to apply. And from there, I've been holding stock there. Or you look at SmartWorks, co-working, just amazing job the founders have done. And again, being very cost conscious and being able to generate good margin out of that.
You seem to be liking the fact that startup companies or companies which are young should be very cost conscious, because you described that a lot in your Hexaware journey as well, that you were thrifty.
Yeah, I think it's very important. Just because funding is available and you throw money, which I don't think one is creating right culture in the company. I think it's very important to, in fact, I would say entire IT industry has been thrifty. Even you see the companies which have grown well, whether TCS or Infosys or Wipro, I think every company is very cost conscious. And that is a culture that I have always learned. And I think that's what has succeeded. We are setting a right example for the whole team.
Got it.
And I don't like startups throwing money just like that.
Got it. Okay. Okay. I would love to expand this conversation to what you're doing right now. But just before that, because we have this current situation on what's happening, etc., would you have a thought on what could happen to the IT sector and thereby to this great engine of exporting services from India to the world because of what AI might do or automation might do or whatever newer practices might do? It's a burning question. A lot of people have desire to understand this. Have you given this some thought?
Yeah, I think AI is a reality now. It's not about choice. It is a structural reset that has happened for Indian software industry and as time goes for every single industry. So a lot of areas that Indian IT industry had very successfully been focusing on, whether it is coding, that is a part of software development, testing services, where you test a software that is made, and support and maintenance for a particular system that is working in a company. All these can were contributing for, it vary from company to company, but it could be as high as 50% of company's revenue or even higher. All these services will be threatened. They will keep reducing as time goes because coding, you don't need people. AI can do coding for you. AI can do testing of the software, and AI can maintain a particular system or a software working in a company. So requirement of people will keep coming down there. So it is no more going to be a model based on number of people involved in a project. It will be shifted to skills.
Okay.
And anyone who has any interest in being a part of software industry will have to become expert at AI. Without that, there is no potential of having a good future. So irrespective of the skills one has acquired, one will have to reskill into AI. There will not be any AI project going forward. Every single project will be AI around AI. So AI will become a fundamental thing. You know, whatever you do, AI and around that what you do. So the entry-level jobs will become challenging. Companies will want AI-skilled manpower. So to get the right job, one will have to really build strong skills in AI. So AI is as important, as big as internet was.
In 2000.
Yeah. Now, we used to talk at one time, I'm doing a digital project. Now, digital is normal. No one does a digital project, but digital is part of the project. Everything is digital. So like that, very soon the time will come when everything is around AI. There is no AI project. So this is a huge transition. And I've seen in my career that there are phases when some companies can't cope up and some company will cope up and grow. So this is a challenging phase for the industry. Now, will everyone succeed? I don't know. But some will succeed, no doubt at all, and grow even bigger. It's a huge opportunity because the cost coming down, you're saving on testing service, you're saving on coding.
Correct.
The money is available to invest for modernization and transformation work. So it's a $1 trillion plus opportunity, big opportunity.
Got it. And therefore, sir, is the question about whether this causes the quote-unquote death of the Indian software services industry the wrong one to ask? And maybe the question should be that could this disrupt the readiness of engineering jobs in a sector which used to provide it in a big way, and therefore people will need to reskill themselves, and even then the number of jobs will be lower, and therefore these jobs have to move beyond the software services industry. Would that be a fair assessment? For India, it's an important thing.
Yeah, I think the reset has happened, and companies and individuals will have to adjust to that. We'll have to start from the education system itself. Our education system will have to train students, teach students in a way that they can be AI ready. And for that, we will also need teachers who have AI competence. So starting with the education to the work that, hard work that a student puts in, which of our students are hardworking. Just that they need the right direction, that this is the critical thing. Don't think that you will get a job without this. In fact, at this stage in IT industry, job we are talking about, but later on any job will need AI, irrespective of industry. So a student will have to really skill himself or herself very well with AI and be ready. As a country, is it a challenge? Yes. But if we handle it well, I think India can move up a whole new level altogether in terms of provider of AI services and solutions to the world.
Do you have any insights of whether we are doing that already on the education system or not? I'm just trying to ask if you do.
I don't think so. Not yet.
Not yet as yet.
Not yet.
Hopefully we do it soon. Huh?
But the advantage we have that the government is very conscious of this. When Prime Minister himself is leading the initiative, our AI summit was very successful. So we have positioned India in the right way globally. But then what? Now we don't have LLMs, and that may not be necessary, I would say, as long as we focus on solutions. That's what IT industry has been doing. We have been providing solutions. There was one way of providing solutions. Now there is another way of providing solutions. Now we'll have to use a lot more of products and platforms and IPs. But services will remain. I'm not saying services will die. But the method of projects will be different now.
Got it. Okay.
We have time because companies are not going to also change overnight. They are also moving in that direction. So we have time if we move fast.
Okay.
If we don't, then it will be late.
Yeah. Just one more question on this. Could it become difficult for larger companies to move with a lot of agility in order to do this, or you don't reckon that's a handicap? Because there's a lot of conversation that the smaller companies which don't have too much of legacy infrastructure work might be able to adopt this AI bandwagon much quicker and therefore will embark upon this journey much swifter than the legacy ones.
Yeah. See, I would say that the large Indian software companies are agile enough.
You think so?
But there is one difference. Whether in mid-sized or a large company, they do have heavy legacy work going on.
Yes.
You compare them with AI native company.
Sure.
which is formed only for AI projects, AI work, and with AI skills, and they have lower overheads. So, if if if, if a transitioning to AI is slow for a software company, then AI native companies can get a larger piece of the cake.
Got it.
So speed is of essence, time is of essence here.
Got it, sir.
So more than internal competition will be more with pure AI based companies.
Got it. Okay. I think a lot of people look up to mentors like you because you've proven by building world-class, world-scale businesses and then moving on. So in some sense, it'd be great to get some nuggets of leadership and personality traits from you because what you did enabled you to build successful businesses, and therefore I would just want to probe that a little bit. Now, when I did some bit of research here, you've apparently advocated taking tough decisions in the short term to serve medium to long-term interests of the company. Could you take us through maybe one or two examples of what you had to do, which eventually served the long-term interests, and why was it so important?
I'll take you to year 2000, 2001.
Okay.
When there was a global recession and the business had become challenging. For software, that was the first time that we saw a challenge to the growth of the business. And that was the time I was running both AppTech and Hexaware. AppTech had two divisions, education and software. And Hexaware was a pure software company. Hexaware was closely held company owned by promoters, do not listed. AppTech was a listed company. Now, I started believing, and that was also the time I'd been NASSCOM chairman, and I'd been going around the world promoting Indian software industry and business. And I started understanding that a software business will need scale. And today in our group, we have two companies, Hexaware and AppTech, though they may be focusing on different competencies, different niche areas. Even then, it is going to be a challenge. And when you go through a downturn, a recession, that is when you really understand challenges much more. So that is when I thought that we should merge these two businesses and make it a bigger company. Now that was challenging and a tough decision because one is a publicly listed, one is closely held. So obviously, the questions will come on transparency, whether promoters are benefiting more, why are we merging like this? AppTech was doing well. So many questions come, and they did come. But then once I believed this, I got it validated by a global consulting company, McKinsey in this case, and I was quite firm on doing it, whatever be the difficulties in executing this, because I want business to succeed. I want, employees to do well and shareholders to do well. So we went ahead with this whole plan. We got valuation report done by two valuers, got a global banker to validate. And then we finally decided a ratio based on advice received that you be somewhat more liberal towards public shareholders, that is towards AppTech. And we took out the AppTech software business, gave free shares of the new company to all shareholders, in the same proportion of holding and merged Hexaware with that and became a listed company. We didn't go for any IPO. We didn't go for fundraise. We didn't need to. At that stage, we didn't need liquidity.
Sure.
We needed scale. We needed more clients to, give case study to prospects. So that whole exercise was tough. It did invite a lot of questions. Some investors didn't like. But finally, when the voting happened among shareholders, we got support of 98, 99% of shareholders. So they finally understood that this was the right way to go about. And after that also, 1 year we decided we are not going to go to investors. We want to prove this, that what we've done is right and we are growing. So the entire 2002, while we got listing, we didn't go around meeting investors, and we said, look, we'll go with the evidence that we've done well. And that is what started happening from 2003. And we had plenty of investors wanting to meet us. It became the other way around, and we could attract very good investors to the company. So I think that whole phase was the most challenging in my business career.
Wow. Okay. The other thing, because it will be so relevant for so many people who are building out businesses right now, is that not everybody is, forget AI native, but tech native as well. Tech becomes a stumbling block in the minds of people. You are not an engineer by trade, yet you arguably founded two of the most successful tech-enabled businesses, right? How did you do it? What should people who are doing it right now, who don't have a tech background but a great business idea, how should they approach this quote-unquote conundrum, if not a problem?
I think an entrepreneur or even a CEO has to be focused on general management.
Okay.
People management. You have to carry people along with you. While running Hexaware, obviously the question comes, I'm not an engineer, nor am I expert in computers. And we had brilliant tech team, so many IT engineers, and very, very bright engineers. We had very, very good team. So I can only tell you with utmost humility that they all loved me. Not because I had knowledge or didn't have knowledge on technologies, but I was very open and transparent with them. I was very clear that Hexaware or for any IT company, the tech team, they are the solution providers. And we are in the business of providing solutions.
Yeah.
That's very clear.
Sure.
So it is not about marketing and sales. It is about what solutions we are able to provide to customers.
True.
And that clarity of thought, when I communicated to all, I think they felt very respected, and this only led to mutual respect. And I cannot remember even one senior technology person who quit Hexaware.
Amazing. So in some sense, sir, hiring the right people, nurturing them, of course, but also trusting them to deliver would be the recipe for anybody who's not a tech talent but wants to build out a business which has to be tech enabled. Almost every business has to be tech enabled.
If one doesn't know particular skill now, whether it is technology or marketing or anything, you respect the person who's working for you.
Right.
And if one is not overwise in really telling that person what that person should know, I think some kind of humility in dealing with experts will make it very easy to have a world-class team. And that is what we did at Hexaware. We had outstanding team in every function.
I'm sure.
And my job was very clear that I'm here for management, overall management. And we could, I think for any leader, taking the company towards its goal and leading the team towards that in the right direction with the right strategies, that is, I think, the real leadership is.
Okay. One slightly interesting thing which I would love to check with you. You've been quoted as saying that there is nothing, correct me if I'm wrong, but there is nothing which is small, beautiful, and profitable. Is that true? Why do you say that?
Yes, it is true.
Why do you say that?
When you look at how the world is moving, or how India is also moving, let's look at the latest, so many trade agreements that we are signing. What would it lead to? More and more companies will come into India.
True.
More and more products will come into India. More services will come. So we will have global companies entering India, which already are there, but many more will come.
Sure.
So an Indian company or an Indian product or Indian service provider will compete with the global companies. Now, if you are small, how will you compete with them?
So the startup entrepreneur क्या करेगा फिर?
No. So first job is you are bringing in some new skills in the sense of new model, and you're disrupting a particular business going on.
True.
So you are drawing interest of
Okay.
everyone.
Okay.
So you reach certain level, but then scale will be needed. Now, I mean, I have two daughters, and I would really want them to run small, beautiful, profitable companies. But I know they don't exist. You look at small companies around us, how challenging the situation. I'm not talking about small caps as in stock market.
Yeah.
Small size companies, individual shop owners, how challenging it has become to run small businesses. The typical small scale companies are difficult to run.
What do they do then, sir? Do they sell off to larger companies? How does this evolve then?
No, I wish I had the answer, but I think focusing on a particular niche and being able to maybe supply to large companies, because large companies can't do everything on their own.
True.
So if one is good in one's product, or one excels at that or a service, then one will be able to survive.
So in some
But
sense,
more difficult.
So in some sense, sir, being a small generalist will not help. You need to have a hero product or a hero service, and excel in that if you are small in order to survive. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yeah, I mean, you look at IT industry that we were just talking about. How many small companies will survive later on? You have to be at least certain scale. So mid-size and large companies will survive. But small companies, and with this onslaught of AI and the kind of requirements from a service provider, a lot of small companies will find it difficult to cope up, unless that small company is all AI company. That will happen in every industry, I believe.
Correct. Okay. In which case, I think Ashok Soota of Mindtree and Happiest Minds, in fact, was quoted as saying that you were amongst the pioneers of the industry. Somebody that I spoke to also said, and when Atul Nishar thinks of something, he thinks of scale. In some sense, your answers embody that you need to think of scale if you want to survive over the long term. And thank you. This is really good advice. What should people who are building businesses currently strive for in terms of leadership? I think one of the answers that you gave was that you take the team along with. Is there something else that you believe is an essential ingredient for somebody who's leading the business of the future?
Yeah, on the team, let me make one point.
Please.
What we did at Hexaware,
Haji.
or AppTech, when you are a small company, when you started a business, you are not able to attract the top talent. Because they have better opportunities in the industry.
Right.
So it's not easy to attract them. Now, how do you still succeed in getting a good talent? Or, in my view, still called the best without that level of experience. So I think the way we decided was to look at passionate people. People who were young, but with passion, who are willing to work hard and who thinks everything is possible. Like, one may be seen as a bit foolish, like our Hexaware initial years. I think if I look back, I sometimes laugh. How could we believe that all this was possible, And it was not just me, the whole team.
Yeah.
That, we will do it, So then, दुनिया झुकती है, झुकाने वाला चाहिए. At that age, that we believed. And could we have proven it in terms of evidences that we have done in past? No. We didn't have that kind of past evidence to show or to demonstrate. And initial years, it was always even difficult to give references to clients, what we've done. But even then, when you are dealing with a team, when you have a team which is having that passion and willingness to work hard and to prove themselves, they're not proven in past, but they have the energy to prove in future. I think that's what any startup can do. That you find youngsters who have that passion, who have belief in themselves.
Okay. So essential trait of a future leader is now to get, it has always been, but to have the right people, nurture them and let them fly.
Yeah, you need to get the right people. Yes, right doesn't mean necessarily most experienced.
Sure.
And empower them.
Empower them.
Yeah, you have to believe in them. You have to support them.
Okay.
And some mistakes will happen. And then you laugh at them and move forward.
That's great advice. Okay. Yeah. A little bit as we come to the end of this conversation, a little bit about how you are thinking of things now. So you mentioned twice or thrice in this conversation that you're working with your daughters. You want your daughters to maybe run something which is small and beautiful, but you may want it to, but that may not necessarily be true. How cool is it to work with family at the current point of time in different ways and form that you're working with each of your family members?
Well, they're all much smarter than me. So it's not that they need too much of guidance from me, but it's I enjoy being with them. I'm not sure so much whether it's the other way around, but like for example, my younger daughter and my wife who set up Azza Fashions,
it's had what, some 20 years of some great leadership.
Yes. So it is focus on the luxury space, and I think their job is to curate the bridal wear and the occasion wear, and both ethnic and contemporary, and to make people look better. So my younger daughter Devangi, she also works with Alka, my wife, and which has been growing well, and they time and again I get involved in giving my views and contribute to that, and I think it's interesting to see my daughter growing with that and doing better and better. My elder daughter Priyanka, she is also very actively involved with my family office, and able to contribute quite well to that. She's a Harvard MBA. My younger one is a Wharton MBA. So, as I said, they are much smarter.
You hired the right people.
Yes, of course, they're the right people. I can just share my experience, and then it left to them what they finally want to do in life. Everyone will find one's own place, and how one is going to be happy. I cannot dictate that.
That's true. You enjoyed traveling the last few years because you mentioned Yeah, you went to 40 countries but didn't quite see them.
Yes.
Have you been able to do that now?
Yes, we've been doing every year some country or the other, and one or more countries, and go around, see, stay there. And now there's more leisure time. And I love looking at people of different nationalities and their culture, their food, and experience that.
Yeah. In some sense, India has quite become like that, right? With the opportunities of travel opening up. Because in some sense, it's like 25 different countries bunched into one nation called India with a one flag, but very different cultures, very different
Absolutely.
food.
And with our infrastructure improving now, uh, I think huge opportunity to explore India itself, which also we have been doing. You know, every year going somewhere or the other within India, once or more times, has become now a habit. And we enjoy going around in India very much.
Any cool places that you recommend people to go to in India or
No,
outside?
My favorite places has always been Rajasthan. We go to different cities there, enjoy the food there. Goa has been another place. So I'm not very adventurous, wanting to only see new places, but also enjoy what I really have been going to,
Okay. My last question, and forgive me, but I'm an investment focused professional by heart and by virtue of my role as a markets editor. I can't ask you about what will happen to the software space, so I'll leave that out. But I would love to know from you, because you are investing in so many businesses as a family office, and like I said, I love that culture of the family office getting formed. But as somebody who's doing that for the next 5-6 years, sir, what are the pockets that you believe are truly sunrise in India? They may not be young, they may be already existing, but have a good runway of growth ahead of them. This will be helpful in two ways: for investors to look at those pockets, and also for people who are thinking of where to put in money to work, or a business idea, or becoming a startup entrepreneur. Where is it that you find promise within this Indian ecosystem currently?
See, I think the digital companies, which have lately not done well in terms of valuation, the stock prices have fallen a lot. And if there is patience while investing, I think digital companies can give a very good return.
You mean food aggregators, insurance aggregators, other digital tech-enabled companies?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Tech-enabled companies can give very good return going forward. But it will need some patience there.
Okay.
And one may not immediately see. Also, I feel the overall, if you see, Indian market today has corrected a lot. In even recent past, more than almost any other country.
Sure. Yeah.
And compared to emerging countries, we have been gross underperformer. So I think with valuations set right now, I think we will see a good growth period for the companies in terms of stock price valuation over next 1 or 2 years.
Okay.
So I think that a lot of opportunity across many sectors, I would say. I personally like banking a lot. Both banks, private and PSUs, are very surprisingly at low valuations, very, very low valuation. And the quality of our Indian banking is absolute world class, I can tell you.
Okay.
And there's so much dramatic improvement in our banking over last 10 years that we would easily be having among the cleanest books among banks in the world, in the least riskiest assets. You see the Western countries' banks, you can't even understand the kind of assets that they have.
Yeah.
And the structured products that they have. And if things go wrong, if they downturn, what will happen? You compare that with the Indian banks, doesn't matter whether world goes up or down, the banks will remain steady and strong.
I hear it.
So I think banking is an amazing opportunity. And then all companies linked with stock exchange, whether asset management, broking, wealth advisors, and stock exchanges, that entire
The whole capital market theme.
capital market theme is, we are just in the beginning phase. I think next 10, 20 years, I cannot even explain what level they can be, how many times they'll multiply in scale.
Okay.
So, I think I would call them banking, I say, because we are strong and steady, and capital markets related company because there'll be phenomenal growth.
Lovely. Well, I invite you very soon, sir, to come on air on NDTV Profit as a
Sure.
markets guest.
Thank you.
Not necessarily just as, as
Thank
an
you.
exceptional entrepreneur. No,
Thank you,
no, but
thank you.
truly, Mr. Nishar, it has
Thank
been a
you.
privilege today to learn so much from you. And I know I've missed many facets of what a exceptional entrepreneurial life that you've led, but this is food for thought in many ways. And I'm sure our viewers are going to enjoy listening and re-listening to this whole piece again.
No, thanks, Neeraj, very much. You made me revisit my past.
This is courtesy, this wonderful thought of doing exceptionals by Nuvama Private, that we get to do this wonderful set of conversations. And today has been no different. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
And viewers, thanks for tuning in to yet another exceptional episode of The Exceptionals.